Hi everyone, I wanted to take some time to talk about the final project for our class. So we're going to scroll all the way down here to week 16 because you have just completed your writing project. Well done, good job. I know that this has been a challenging time, but I'm really proud of you for turning in your final writing project. And now we're moving on to the last assignment of the semester, which is our final reflective letter. So you'll find the instructions for the final reflective letter right here in the link that says Final Reflective Letter in a Pandemic Instructions. And below that, there's a sample. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the assignment for the final reflective letter. This is what the assignment sheet looks like. The assignment is due on Moodle by Wednesday, 5/13 at 11:59 p.m. And this final comprehensive reflective letter asks you to think about what you've learned in the class and then demonstrate knowledge of yourself as a writer, not through saying it, but by also doing it. So, for example, if you're going to say that you learned a lot about grammar this semester, then your grammar in your letter better be tip-top. Or if you're going to say you learned a lot about paragraph structure, then you better utilize the appropriate paragraph structure that we've been working on all semester long. If you want to talk about how you learned to write a really effective hook, you might write or choose an example of a hook from your essay or an essay that you've written that shows us an effective hook. So you're not just telling me what you learned, you're also showing what you learned. You're going to write me a letter. It should be in letter format. It should look like a letter. You can Google letter templates. Microsoft Word has a letter template that you can follow. I want it to be a letter to me. Just like we opened the semester with an email to me, we're closing the semester with a letter to me. So we're going to talk about we're going to talk about our content in 4 categories, which are basically 4 kinds of knowledge. So the first category is writing knowledge. Writing knowledge refers to the choices that you make as a writer when you consider audience and purpose and the persuasive moves of other writers. So, for example, you know it's important to consider opposing points of views if you want to persuade readers to consider your argument. You also know that if we're writing an academic essay, we should pay attention to certain things. In this section, you must address how your writing project that you just turned in reflects the materials from the weekly lectures. So thesis statement or purpose, paragraph structure, essay structure, MLA, and editing/proofreading. When we introduced our new writing project after spring break, I told you that you would be held responsible for the content in the weekly lectures. So this is how you're going to be held responsible. In addition to showcasing those things in your writing project, you'll also be discussing how you utilized each of those components in the writing project that you just turned in. So at the very least, the content on writing knowledge, the section on writing knowledge should discuss all of this stuff. In addition, there are a few more questions that you could consider answering or responding to. What did you learn about writing this semester, both by writing your essays and considering the writing of others? What have you learned about the rhetorical demands of audience, purpose, genre? How has that affected your writing and reading practices, and so on and so forth? So a good way to get started with writing this letter is to go through and respond to the questions that I've asked here. You certainly don't have to include all of your responses in the letter. Your letter doesn't need to be 45 pages, but it's a good way to do some brainstorming. So the second area of knowledge that I would like you to write about is self-knowledge. So this means your awareness of how you are developing as a writer. So what did you learn about yourself over the course of the semester? What changes have occurred in your writing practices? Did you approach different writing assignments differently? How did the COVID-19 pandemic impact your approach to tackling research and writing? These are some of the things that I would like you to think about and respond to. The third section should be content knowledge. So this refers to what we've learned about different subjects in the semester. So how did learning about and thinking about the canon impact your perception on literature? How did thinking and learning about the canon impact your perception on what you read in school? What did learning about various topics over the course of the semester as a result of reading different things help you learn? Of the material that you responded to or analyzed over the course of the semester, what struck you as the most interesting and why? And what new perspectives did you gain? Finally, the fourth area is critical knowledge or judgment. So this requires you to do some reflection on strengths and weaknesses in your own writing. You should also identify what you like or value in your writing and explain why. So which paper this semester was your best, or which project, which activity, which assignment? How has your ability to identify strengths and weaknesses in your writing changed over the course of the semester? What role has peer, instructor, or other feedback had on assessments of your work? How do you expect to learn what you've used from this course in the future? The very last thing that I would like you to do is review the Spring 2020 Grades option video and the grade flowchart in Moodle, and include a sentence at the bottom of your reflective letter letting me know which grade option you prefer for this semester. So you can see here, this is what I'm talking about. Here's the video, here's the flowchart. Here is also some information if you're a nursing student that's important when considering what grade option you want. And here's the questionnaire. I'd also like you to include a sentence in your reflective letter, please. You can see here what you'll be evaluated on. And then you can see here as well the grading rubric for your project. This project is worth 100 points. And again, it will be due on Moodle by Wednesday, May 13th. There's also a sample here for you to take a look at on Moodle that will be very helpful for you. If you have any questions, just let me know.